Hi, I'm Andre and this is Osteo Knits. Welcome to my little corner of YouTube where I talk knitting, spinning, books, whatever other thing. This is going to be a regular episode. We'll have an update on Stashdown Summer School specifically next week. But I can't really talk about a crafting update without talking Stashdown Summer School. Stashdown Summer School is a make-along that I've been hosting since June 1st. It continues until August 28th. And the whole goal is to finish whips and work from stash. It is open to any and all fiber arts. We have a Ravelry group. We are sharing and posting things on Instagram, and I'm also recording periodic videos on YouTube. So the next video will be to talk about the July theme, which is a deep stash and long-term projects. But the first month was focused on quick wins and once again projects. And that has been a very successful month of crafting. Not just for me, but all of the participants. I've been seeing so many finishes, a lot of garments, a lot of socks, people just accomplishing things that they've been putting off. And that's great. That's exactly what I wanted this to be. I recorded a video at the beginning of June where I went through every single one of my whips. I think the total I came up to was 12, which I had already finished a couple of things before that. But I am now into single digits. I think it's 8. But yeah. Either way, it's great. It's great that I'm finishing things. It feels like such a lightening of like not having all of these things sort of weighing on me, which is really nice. Going into June, I really had 3 main things that I was aiming to do. One was finish a pair of DK work socks. The second was my Stria cardigan. And the third was to cast on and finish a worsted weight hat. And I've done all of those and more. So let's start with the work socks because that was a very, very quick win. I finished it on June 1st. So these, all I had to do was one toe. So it really wasn't that much. So these are, I didn't use a pattern. It's a 3x1 rib for most of the body of the sock, and I just randomly decided where I wanted to do stripes. The yarn is from Timber Yarns. It was a kit that was sold all together, but this marled beautiful blue yarn is in the color Aruba. I really like the texture of it. This was DK weight. I can't remember if I mentioned that. And these are for my partner. Okay. This is the worsted weight hat that I made. Okay. This is a lovely tweed yarn that my dad brought back for me from Ireland, and the pattern is the loam hat, which comes from the Seasonal Slow Knitting book. I noticed a lot of the comments on the pattern said that their hat turned out really big, and that is the case with this. I originally cast on, I think it was the 3rd size that I originally cast on, and after doing the ribbing, I realized that that was going to be way too big. So I frogged it and started over with the second size. And even this is a little roomy. Like, it is wearable. It will be great for like when I have my hair up, and I can even like cuff the brim. So it's not like to the point that it's comically too big, but just roomy. It's not a snug fit, which is fine. Okay. I do have some other finishes, but let's talk Stria. So when I last showed this, I was working on the button band. That's done. I have sewn in all of the ends, blocked it, and sewed on the buttons. So there was a lot of that finishing work, which was part of what to get through for this month with Stashdown Summer School. So a little bit showing the cardigan here. We've got tubular bind off on all of the edgings. This is a pattern by Andrea Mowry. I knit it using most of the library colors from the Frosted Stitch. The main color is Pages. I don't remember all of the other ones. There's Periodical, Study, Leather Bound. I don't remember the rest, but all beautiful. Part of the consequence of all this striping is a lot of ends to sew in. It took me almost 4 years to finish this cardigan. It definitely has been a slog to get through, and I feel like from what I've seen, this is a common feeling about the Stria. Part of it is the small gauge with fingering weight, done in half fisherman's rib with the stripes. It's not a quick knit, but, and this is kind of the thing that has kept me going with this project, the drape is beautiful. I knew it was going to give a really great fabric, which is why I held on to this project. And especially now, it's a nice light cardigan from blocking. It's a nice texture. So even in these kind of warmer days, it's a nice little layer, especially to wear inside where the air conditioning might be a little aggressive. Mine is not particularly aggressive. It's just this thing in the corner that blows air all the time, and it neither warms or cools. Yeah. But all of these things, the finishing, the buttons are all done. I actually did all of the buttons one night when I was on the phone with my mom, because I kind of put it in my head. I was like, okay, let's do this. Let's get it done. I don't have an excuse. And that was that. So I'm really happy that this is done, because this was kind of like the big thing. And I finished other things on top of that. So another whip that was close to completion was my Nolan gnome by Imagine Landscapes. So here he is, all finished. It is so stinking cute. I love, this is my second one of these, not this pattern specifically, but my second gnome by Imagine Landscapes. And they're just so fun. It's a great way to use up little scraps. Like this white yarn, I think I knit possibly my third ever pair of socks out of this yarn, and it is now officially all used up. The red was from one of my first hand-dyed yarn purchases from Camp Fiber Yarns, It was a Doctor Who collection, and the color is Fires of Pompeii. And then this green is a mystery yarn. I think somebody may have given it to me. But yeah, I don't know where it is, where it comes from. Anyways, he's very cute. I didn't know what to put at the bottom to weigh him down because he's so tall. I knew there was a risk that he would be very tippy. So without having a lot of things on hand, I thought I would use like those glass beads that you sometimes put in vases. 'Cause I had them and I wasn't using them. And it didn't quite work as planned. I tried to like sandwich it between some stuffing, and instead it just sort of seeped to the sides. And now he's a little bit lumpy, but he stands up. That's all that matters. Yeah. So really pleased with how that turned out. I have what is the book called? I have the book for the gnomes, so it'd be really fun to do more of them. Okay. Other things. I finished a skein of hand spun yarn. This is from my Longway Homestead breed study. This is the Corriedale. And I'm trying to do, this is my second one spun from the breed study. I'm trying to do them all long draw and then chain plying it. That seems to be blowing out. Is this better? It's very white. It's the natural color. It's not the first time I spin Corriedale. I felt like it was very neppy, so it wasn't great for a long draw, but still manageable. I've started the next installment in the breed study, which is Ile-de-France, trying to follow basically the same way of spinning the fiber, and I am loving the Ile-de-France fiber. It's just like a dream to spin, especially long draw. It is just so happy to go long draw and just gives a nice even fiber. Really, really enjoying that one. I'm still not done. One more finished thing, not technically 100% finished, but I'm recording this on the Friday. What day is it? Friday, June 26th. I bound off my Who You Gonna shawl on Wednesday. So it is all done. This is a pattern by Lyrical Knits. If you have not participated in a Lyrical Knits mystery knit along, they are so fun. There's such cute little descriptions for every section, all kinds of little interesting stitches. Very, very enjoyable. All of the colors used here are from the Frosted Stitch. This one here is Lore. This lighter one is Ectomobile 1. This is Isolation. And let's get a good one here. Do I have a solid green? Here. This is Ghostbusters. So this lovely combo of all kinds of different greens went together so cohesively, and it's done. As you can see, there's still quite a lot of ends. I'm working on them. I sewed in quite a bit last night, and I will continue to work on sewing in the rest. But the knitting is done. So quite a lot of finishes during this past month. which has been just so encouraging. I also have another one that is almost done. So at some point during the month, I don't know, I just decided to work on the moving forward wrap. It was calling to me, and it became a very easy knit to work on while I was reading. And this is enormous. Okay, let's start at the bottom of it. We've got these reds going into this, and I'm on this purple one here. So this is the before last stripe. Then we'll finish off with a garter stripe, and it's all done. And a lot of ends to weave in. But yeah, another one that's almost done. This pattern is by Denise Byron, and the yarn is again the frosted stitch. Trying to control these ends. This is her second Pirates winter box. Yes. So this is almost done. It is very possible for me to finish this before the end of the month. So this, along with sewing in a boatload of ends, is what I'll be working on. At least until July comes around. And I've also got some updated hexies. Oh no, we have a crochet hook stuck in here. Okay. All right, which one did I show last? So here's, let's look at the whole thing. This is the lockdown blanket, and I am using it with each hexie reflecting the colors of the covers of books that I've read. So I don't think I had finished What Moves the Dead last time I recorded. This is What Moves the Dead. That was by T. Kingfisher, and it is a retelling of Edgar Allan Poe's The Fall of the House of Usher. And I really enjoyed it. It had some kind of tongue-in-cheek humor bits. The main character was really interesting in this imaginary world and organization of the system and language and all of this. It is a series, so I'm very interested in continuing to read the series of books. What was next? I don't even remember. There was, which one's which? This was 4,000 Weeks, kind of like an anti-productivity book. It was good. I liked the beginning of it, but I found basically the second half was a lot of rehashing what was originally said. So it probably could have been more like a couple of articles instead of a whole book. That's my kind of critical take on it. This one here is from a nonfiction book called Still Life with Bones. It is by Alex Hagerty. And okay, so initially going into it, I expected that it would be more of a forensic anthropology thing, which it was not. So I had a little bit of a preconceived idea as to what the book would be. I had to kind of adjust once I saw what it was. So it's mostly the story of this woman. I think it was while she was doing her PhD, she took a year or spent a field season working with the excavations of mass graves in Guatemala and Argentina. So she was doing some of the excavation work, some of the osteological work, but was also combining it with survivor and family testimonies, and also researching some of the history of the disappeared and the political conflict in these areas. So it was very interesting to get that background and the sort of holistic complement that is very anthropological. But I think partly because I went into it expecting more forensic anthropology, and that's not what it was, I was a little bit disappointed. But that's my bias, and it's hard to fault the book for not being what I thought it would be, if that makes sense. It was still really good. Okay. And my most recent finish, and I really like these colors. This was a fiction book, and it was The Book of Cold Cases by Simone. I forget the name. Anyways, so the story's mostly this girl who runs a website called The Book of Cold Cases, who does this in her spare time, is one of those true crime nuts who researches things and even pays a private investigator to do research. And in part she does this because of a thing that occurred in her childhood where she feels like she needs to make up for it. Yeah. In her day job, she encounters a local woman who had been tried for murder but acquitted in the 70s and has been kind of this folkloric figure in the community, and ends up interviewing her about what happened and ends up uncovering the true story, or at least what she thinks may be the true story. It has these paranormal aspects to it. It is really, really captivating. It's one of those thriller books, right? So it really does suck you in. And it was really cool to have primarily female characters in here, and pretty strong ones. So yeah, really, really enjoyed that book. Currently, what am I reading? I'm reading Slow Productivity by Cal Newport. We're on a bit of a kick right now as I'm trying to learn how to relax a bit while also juggling a lot of responsibilities with work. And I'm finding the Cal Newport book really good because he's actually an academic, so he understands that type of work. Yeah. I'm about to start a new book. Actually, I'm going to pick up one book from the library, and I will be starting a new nonfiction, but I've not started them, so I'm not gonna bother talking about them. We'll get an update. Hopefully I'll have finished them by next month. Okay, so we're going into second month of Stashdown Summer School, which again is deep stash and long-term projects. Tour de Fleece starts on July 4th. So those are two things that are going to influence my crafting in the upcoming month. I already have some plans for what I want to do. So I want to work on my oldest whip, which has been hibernating for years. So this is the Letters Home Shawl by Larissa Brown. And I am using Barocco Vintage in various colors. And these were all scraps from my second Geek Along blanket. So this has been sitting for I don't even know how long. And for the longest time I thought I was going to frog it. But when I rewound all the yarn and washed it and all of that, I just decided I wanted to do it. I have figured out where I am. So at least I know what the next step is. But I'm looking forward to doing it. Also, I plan on casting on a cowl. What is it called? I think it's called Hot Cider Cowl by Helen Stewart. It is written for, I think, fingering weight with mohair, but with a worsted gauge. So my plan is to knit it with this yarn, which I ended up with more tweed. This is Irish tweed that I had ordered, I think in 2013, and I haven't touched it yet. So we're gonna be doing more tweed. That's okay. But I thought with the texture, like the cables and all of that in the shawl, it would be really nice to show off the little flecks of color from the tweed. And it is a like single spun yarn. So there is a bit of differences in texture because of that. And because Tour de Fleece is coming up, I like to work with my hand spun during Tour de Fleece. Last year I worked on my Attune shawl. This year I'll be knitting yarn that I spun up during last year's Tour de Fleece. So I'll be working on, I think the pattern is called Father-in-Law Scarf. So it's a fairly simple scarf, and I'm knitting it with hand spun yarn from alpaca from a local farm. The alpaca's name is Star. It's primarily white with a big brown, like chestnutty star shape on her back, hence her name. And we get a nice kind of combination of the natural colors here. So I can't remember the last time I've knit a scarf. I feel like scarves just take forever. So it's probably an appropriate project to have this month. I don't know which, if any of these, I will finish over the course of July, but especially given that I've cleared out so many over the month of June, I feel a little less pressure to finish things. At least it's more like I've got space to progress on these smaller things. Yeah. And I hope that if you are participating in Stashdown Summer School, that you feel similarly. 'Cause we all have, well, a lot of us have projects that are long-term that will take a lot of time to finish. And that can be discouraging. But if you've knocked out a couple of those smaller things and your whip pile is a lot lighter, it's not so bad, right? Maybe it's just me. Anyways. And I don't have much in terms of acquisition. I've been good at not adding to my stash. I do have my monthly yarn from the Frosted Stitch monthly club. And this one is Valley of the Kings with these lovely pink, orange, and yellows. Yeah, very beautiful colors. A theme that is very dear to my heart. I had originally thought about going to the Muskoka Fiber Fest, which is this weekend, but ultimately decided not to, simply because at the previous Fiber Fest that I went to, I just had this moment of realization that I just don't need anything more, and that's fine. Yeah. So that is what I've been up to. That is my crafting plans. I'm taking next week off from work, which will be great. It has been really busy this month with registration opening and assisting students with course conflicts and planning their degrees and all of that. My grad students have research going on, so I've been working on getting their projects underway and doing analysis. So it's been busy, and I'm very much looking forward to a week of not feeling like I constantly need to check my email. Yeah. We're planning a short little trip, my partner and I, just a couple of nights away. And not this weekend, the weekend after, we have the Italian festival in town. So there'll be a lot going on during the week, but I look forward to some downtime. I look forward to some crafting time and some reading time. Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. I am really excited to share my posts and my ideas for the Stashdown Summer School July theme. I'll post everything that you may need to know if you want to join. It's still absolutely open for registration. So if you want to join the Make Along and work alongside others, encourage each other to work from stash and finish your whips, you're absolutely welcome to. There's no strict rules. Do what you want. Yeah. Yeah, I think that is it. So take care, everyone. I will see you soon. Bye.